Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It depends which part of the world you're at. Welcome to our session this morning. My name is Dr. Robin Yap, and I'm here with Dr. Caitlin. I could not pronounce your last name, Caitlin. so this session, it's horrible. This session, we will talk about the Honors Bachelor in Business Administration, major in Business Analytics. Uh, and also, we refer to it fondly as B303. And we also will be discussing about our postgrad analytics for business decision making, which is also called B412. Just on the outset, I wanted to let you know that the B303 program is still on build mode. So you won't find it in our website at this time. It will be available in the fall 2022. We got the approval from the Ministry of Education, and we are now ensuring that all of our content for that program aligns with um, what is our new environment. So our first 2 years for the B303 program will be online, and then the last 2 years will be either hybrid or face to face, depending on what happens at that time, depending on what the governments say. Uh, our B412 for the fall session this coming fall for September this year is going to be uh, originally it's programmed as hybrid. If the government continues to what we are looking at to be online, then we have to be online. So just keep watching or going to our website to ensure that you know what is going on, whether we're going to be face to face or not. So, for this morning's session, I'm here with you for about 30 minutes, but it doesn't prevent you from sending me a message later on or any of our contacts that I will let you know for any of the questions that you may have. Okay, so we'll talk about why choose us, and then what are the program basics, what career experience you're going to be having an opportunity to go through in this program, as well as some connections that we have, and how do you actually apply. So, what makes us special? For those who may not know where George Brown College is located, we are in downtown Toronto, and Toronto is the largest city in the country, as well as it's the most um, well, the country is diverse. Our businesses are very diverse in this city, just because it is um, seen as a center, and therefore, uh, in so doing, we are able to provide you with opportunities that other colleges may not, just because of proximity. But other than that, though, our faculty have a wide variety and significant experience. So I myself, I'm the coordinator for this program. I have 6 degrees, for example, and I used to be a vice president for a very large bank in this country, and I have. Uh, North American experience, as well as European and Asian work experience as well. So combine that and magnify that with a variety of our faculty in this program, then suddenly you have a very rich set of experiences that we bring to the workplace, to the classroom. We do have a very strong connection in analytics. So my postdoctoral is in analytics, and I've gone to an Ivy League school, for example. I have my colleagues in very uh, the pedigree of our faculty is amazing. And one of our faculty even sold his company to SAS, for example, and has made uh, tons of money. And now I'm back is back into just doing faculty. So, and it's fascinating to have that experience. We do have a solid program advisory committee, which I will discuss it in a couple of slides, as well as memberships in international associations. Our curriculum is very much industry focused. It is aligned to what the industry requires so that you are ready when you go out there in the field. And it exceeds ministry standards. So there are minimum standards that the government requires for any program. And why be minimum? Why? So we always exceed that, right? And that's important for everyone. And we do value the diversity of our students because not only do you learn from faculty, you learn from your colleagues, you learn from the environment. Uh, so there is a great experience for our students in this school. So for the B412 program, so that's the post grad analytics for business decision making program, the intake for that one is in the fall and the winter. So there's no intake in the summer spring combo, but the other semesters we do have it. Our class sizes are approximately 50, sometimes lower. So we have 40 sessions, sometimes we have more than 50. It all depends on the type of classes that you have. So once I go through the B412 set of classes, you'll be able to see which ones are common across all of our programs, which I will let you know, and the ones very specific to our program um, would most likely have not as much people because it's not a combination of, it's not a class that goes to the various other programs as well. We do encourage our students to be in the cohort. There have been instances where students would come in as a part-time basis, but that actually meant enrolling full-time and then releasing some classes. But ultimately, we want it to be cohort. It was built to be a cohort, and it was built for you to complete the program in 2 semesters. So if you happen to either fall behind along the way or because of circumstances you want to be part-time, then it's a bit of a conversation, not just with admissions but with our business office as well. The delivery of our classes are uh, we use a variety of modalities is what we would call those. So a modality would be presentation skills. The other modality would be lecture. The other modal, and those are different. The other modality would be using videos, for example, or podcasts. So we use what is available and current in the class that's appropriate for that content of that class. And then when we evaluate using a variety of assessment tools, uh, apart from verbal, like stand-up presentations, apart from your usual multiple choice questions or essays or papers. So it's a variety of that, and it'll keep you very excited in all of these various modalities as well as assessments, and along the way get to kind of have fun with it as well, right? Now, I won't be able to put all of the course summaries and learning outcomes here. Otherwise, it'll just be a reading class or a reading session. So I did put the links here. And Kate, if you don't mind copying, oh, actually, we'll send the copies of these online, and you'll be able to access them. But to get you a quick view of what they are, if you Google George Brown College B412, then you will get to this website. And I'm sure you probably have seen this already because it's got what got you into this page in the first place, into this session, right? So um, there are very important key um, content in here that I'd like for you to make sure you make a note of before you send a message to anyone, because we will direct you back into these pages. So very important. A lot of people would ask, how do I actually qualify this? Do I need English in my session because in my application because I went to an English speaking school in my country? Those questions need to go to the international department because it's very specific to your country, to your requirements. Even if you have a West conversion, for example, which is the um, source for sending your transcripts, there might be additional requirements, which unfortunately I, as the coordinator, am not privy to. So the function of the coordinator is by its name, we coordinate, we send you to places. So I will end up sending you to admissions. So you may want to go there to check. If you happen to be domestic, the website for domestic is right here where my cursor is. And then so English proficiency is right there. A lot of questions that I've gotten in the past couple of years is pretty much I've gone to a the 3-year program. Would I qualify here for a postgrad? Clearly, you would see it in our website here, as well as a bachelor's degree. Now, when it comes to the relevant work experience, then we need to get resumes and experiences, and we do do that check, and there will need to be our admissions department will make all those phone calls as if it's like an interview. So you know how you get your references that way, and then we want to make sure that the resume is complete to the requirement of the documents, as if you did not have for example, a diploma or a degree. Okay. A lot of people would ask what the tuition would be. Currently, the tuition is 44.55. This can change depending on the year. So if you're looking at enrolling for next year winter, for example, because that might be the time when everybody's vaccinated, everybody can travel, at least hopefully, crossing our fingers, then uh, then you may want to keep looking at this, because this is not my control, and this is also linked to what the requirements of the ministry. So we can only go so much for these things, right? All right, so back to our slides. Excuse me. Okay, so what do the courses look like? So let me tell you, on the first semester, you will get these 6 classes. So on average, our students take 6 classes as a cohort. So that's your full-time B412 student. And you will get these set of courses for that semester. Now, you may be wondering, why are there business classes here, like applied business communications, for example, um, or even business research? And the reason is that this is in a business school, and therefore we are teaching you to be business leaders with analytics background, as well as supporting you to become great um, analytics, like an analytics scientist, for example, in the future, analytics, uh, data analysts, any of those things. So it is not only technical, but it's also business focused. You're in the business school. If you want a fully technical program, there's a T405 program at George Brown that is all just programming, and it's all technology. And that's the difference between our program and the technology program. We kind of have similar titles, but ultimately ours is business first, and then have the ability to speak the language of the technologist, and able to then support business decision making, because ultimately you become that leader. That's the career path of that department. On the technology side, they are meant to work in the technology and then kind of build up their career that way. Okay, so that's kind of the difference between these two. On the You will notice as well in this class, so any of the classes, like a business communications class, would most likely have a lot more folks in your in so this one here would have a lot more students in there, most likely, and programming fundamentals, because these sometimes can translate to other programs as well. So, which is good, you get to know other people. So that's kind of fun there. Second semester is a bit more heavy, in the sense that this is where you deep dive into all of the analytics requirements. So not only do you go through data mining, there are very advanced statistical analysis, and you have this massive capstone project. The beauty about this capstone project is that it allows you to get work experience, which I will explain in my next page. So here you will see not only will we prepare you for the work environment, the placement is about it's the semester, so you will get a whole 4 months in there because that's your second semester. And then we, of course, have a whole support system for you. Not only does your faculty support you and myself as a coordinator, but also we have a department that can assist you in these. There are opportunities for paid and non-paid placements. That's all depending on the company that you're working with. And the employers, we have seen individuals that were part of a project for Capstone and then became employees for those companies. An SME would be a small to medium large enterprise, and then there are large enterprises. So a small to medium size would be a company um, in Calgary that we have had work with because we can do this remotely. That it's called Sotera, and that company is a medium-sized company, but ended up actually hiring our graduates. That's a wonderful kind of experience for that one. And then large enterprises would be, there's a lot of banks in the city, so you get to see those. A lot of consulting firms, a lot of a variety of kind of, there's manufacturing and so forth. I think there is a question. Sorry, I'm have multiple windows. Caitlin, do you see that? Quartz chat.
It was just me. I said, if anyone has any questions, feel free to post them in the Q&A section.
Sorry, I can see the light, but I couldn't see where the window is. So just cut me off anytime. All right. Just wanted to make sure I have the next 10 minutes available for everyone. So we're kind of ending into, I only have a couple more slides, but do send your, post your questions right now if you have any, and we'll be happy to provide you a response or direct you to individuals that have that expertise. Okay, so uh, we have a very solid connection to the industry, not just in Toronto, but the whole of Canada and internationally as well. Um, as you can see, we have designations in here, and that should not say HR, it should say business analytics. I'm not sure why it says HR. And Program Advisory Committee, our PAC, is comprised of about a dozen executives in the analytics world here in Canada, as well as about 5 to 6 other small to medium sized kind of companies in there. So very exciting. Now, what are the opportunities for you to network once you are in this program? There is an analytics club. So when you're a student, you become part of this massive group. There's about 200 something students in there. And once you're there, even if you graduate, you're still part of it. So we have speaker series. You can check online for those. We our that club can be found in our student association. So if you go to George Brown College Student Associations and then scroll down, you'll be able to see the analytics club in there. We also, you can join the analytics hub. So if you look at George Brown Analytics Hub, you can join that. The analytics club also online on LinkedIn. Both of the club and the hub are on LinkedIn. The check though is that if you're in the club and you're not a student yet, you may not be able to go in because we do check. But for the analytics hub, anybody can go in and you can network there now. Even by not being a student, you can still just join. We allow our students to and encourage them to go to conferences and events and competitions, whether we provide that. We have an analytics conference coming up in October, for example. Competition that just happened recently was the Safe Roads competition. I love that competition because each team gets a whole set of data that they then manipulate to around the traffic issues in a particular neighborhood. So for example, Toronto, what are the traffic metrics? What are the types of vehicles that are in the roads? How do you make it safer? And then the study and the results and the solutions that the teams provide linked to what will make it safer. Our George Brown teams have won either first or second place in the last couple of years. We seem to be on first or second every single time. So what does that tell you, right? There is a SAS competition. We do have a great partnership with SAS. And we have other student opportunities, and this is for the whole of George Brown. And that's Enactus, for example. It's our social enterprise association. So what happens with that competition is that you, as a team, create a social enterprise. So for example, you're assisting homeless to give them a skill, programming skill, for example, and you set all that up, and whatever that metrics look like, then goes into a competition, and the competition then will allow you to have opportunities for not just sharing the content, but also, you know, winning, and there's awards, and there's all of these other things around that, and you get to travel along with everyone as well. So that's fun. I love that. There's the Humology Lab. I run the Humology Lab. It's a lab full of robots on it. So there's a lot of data coming out of that lab. And every semester, I would hire. So this is a paid job. I would hire students that would then work with me to do a bunch of research um, on behavior and how humans behave in environments where there are AI and AI enabled robots. So I'm an AI ethicist, so I work on a lot of that component as well as on the robots side. So you will see my Instagram, a lot of robots in there. Okay, so that's just a peek into many more things that you can see. Um, Last slide that I have here is what are the potential employment roles that you're going to see, where these are the titles that you will see there. What is great about Canada is that we actually have a list on what is being tracked by the Canadian government and what is available out there. So there's about 18,000 jobs in Ontario alone on the analytics side. And this website, and you can just go to jobbank.gc.ca. I know this is a bit long, but if you right here, so if you go to this jobbank.gc.ca, and then within that, just type in analytics, for example, or whatever job that you're looking for, you'll get a whole list of data around that. We all love looking at data. All right, do you have a hand up? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to let you know that there's a question and you have 5 minutes left. So let me give Camilo the floor.
Hey, Camilo.
Go ahead.
Hi. No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
It's good to hear your voice. So, well, if you have any questions, just click on your Q&A or raise your hand. Okay. So how do we apply? This is such an exciting world for us here. For domestic, again, you need to go to OCAS, which is ontariocolleges.ca. Even if you just go to this ontariocolleges.ca and then type in George Brown, and then the code is B412, then it'll link you to that specific page. All the domestic students go to this site. So it's interesting that we are part of a larger group of, there's 24 colleges in Ontario, and it's being funneled in for an enrollment through that. For international, fairly straightforward, apply now.georgebrown.ca/international. Okay. Now you may want to make if you want to take a screenshot of this, or you can always search us on the George Brown website. Business@georgebrown.ca will be the first place that you would send any questions that you may have. That is general question. So things like application requirements, things like tuition fees and what does the schedule look like. All of those things actually go to that what do you call this, the email address, and then this is how you search for us online. When you search on this is the website that you will see, and that is my name in there if you have any questions, additional questions. So that is it for me. I have 3 more minutes. Any other questions that I can answer from everyone? Caitlin, you may have a question.
I do not have a question, but
Caitlin is a great faculty, by the way, so you get to see her as well.
yeah, here, I'll put my camera on.
See, there you go, you get to see her.
I didn't want to distract from the presentation. It was so fantastic.
Thank you.
All right.
So between Caitlin and I'm sure we'll be able to answer a bunch of your questions.
Yes.
I know it's early and I'm the first session of the day, so that might be one reason, or it might be evening on your side and you're like, hold on, I'm having dinner. So shoot me an email. I do answer during the week, not as much on weekends, but I try to check. So our class hours for this program, in the pre-COVID times, they're set up to be evenings after 4, and there are even weekend classes because it allows for people who are going to work in this city. Now that it's post-COVID or pandemic still, I guess we're still there. The schedules are pretty much all over the place just because we are online, right? And it could be anywhere in the world. You could be anywhere and still participate. So there are classes that are sometimes face-to-face, which is live like this. We use a system called Teams or Collaborate. And sometimes it is asynchronous, which means you have a post that you have to answer online on Blackboard is the software we use. And then you go in and out asynchronous depending on what your schedule looks like. So all depends on what that class is and how the faculty, they have the ability to kind of adjust their schedules and adjust the way they teach their classes. So that's kind of how that is.